From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher, and their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher, and our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Scripchuk. Their mission: to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training Podcast. I'm going to be one of the hosts for this episode. My name is Bill. Who else is hosting?
I'm Vicky.
You are. You know what? We have returning
What's
guests
I know.
from very
He's
long,
one of my favorite people.
from very far in the podcast past.
Mm-hmm.
He, let's see. We met him a few different times, but the one that sticks out and we got to know him the best was when he decided that he was going to do the Escape from Moscow rally, except that he did not realize that in order to do the Escape from Moscow rally, one must first leave Moscow. And his entire week's rally involved going to various car parts stores, junkyards, hotels. And I believe technically he left Moscow before the rally was over, but it was not by much.
No, I think we're rolling into Atlanta as we were getting home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Yeah. So if you recognize the voice, you know what you're in for. Welcome back to the podcast, Randy Bish.
Hi, you crazy kids. How's life been?
Not too bad.
Good.
So you are the first person to be cooking French toast during a podcast, unless you've switched over to eggs. I'm not quite sure.
Oh yeah. We're in egg mode now. We are in the first eggs where I forget the pan is too hot and ruin them. So it's a good thing there's 30 more behind me.
Well, planning ahead is always better than actually knowing what you're doing. It's fine. You're good to go.
Oh, I gotta put that on a shirt. That's good.
All right, there you go. Well, we're chock full of useless information on this end of the podcast world. So Mr. Bish, you're part of the League of Legitimate Nigerian Businessmen, somewhat questioning the legitimate part of that title, but we'll go with it since it's been trademarked.
Yeah, I mean, we already got the Facebook page and everything. Like, there's no going back now.
Mm-hmm.
See, that it was supposed to be a temporary team name, but well, after everyone got to know it much more quickly than we anticipated, it kind of stuck. There's nothing we can do about it now.
Mm-hmm. It's not like you change your name on Facebook at random times to random things and keep everybody confused.
It depends on how hot he gets people around him. In a bad way.
The only person I know who self-imposes kicking himself off of Facebook and changing his account to something else, and no one knows who it is for a while, and then you figure it out after a while.
Yeah. Oh man! So, I changed my account name. I went into hiding on the internet 3 years ago, something like that, and until I changed it back a few months ago, people legitimately thought my name was Wally.
Mm-hmm.
I have some very good friends over here who genuinely did not know my name. So whenever I signed up, when I signed up for
Wally was you
National under the name Randy, no, everyone's like, "Huh, Randy's the fake name. Good on you."
Yeah.
Like, no, guys.
I didn't know that Wally was you. I knew who you were, and I knew who Wally was, and I'm sitting there going, "They're the same?" No. But anyway.
Oh yeah, there were a bunch of people that had the same idea. The one guy, I would go help set things up at Pit Race, and I would tell him that I was coming to help set up on Facebook, and I'd get there, and he'd be like, "Man, this Wally guy never shows up. I'm glad you're here, Randy." And I never told him for like a year.
Yeah. That is awesome.
That sounds like it. It was kind of like I'd never seen the two of you in the same place. Neither one of you had ever been to Cliff Clavin's kitchen, so I just, how was I supposed to know?
Yeah, that's looking back, I can understand why it didn't catch for everyone immediately.
Mm, that's fine. So, sir, um, using the term loosely, well, what are you racing now? It's kind of hard to tell what's in the arsenal and what's being destroyed and what's not destroyed.
Oh man. So let's see. In the league fleet right now,
Mhm.
we have our original Impreza, that holds the record for blowing up 3 motors in one weekend. I think we went through
Nice.
7 motors last year, something like that. Yeah, we're tired of it. We finally went one whole season this year on the same motor because we put the anemic, underpowered one in that can't hurt itself.
Mhm.
So that the OG is rolling around. We have another Impreza hatch with a 6-cylinder Subaru motor in it, that the wiring is
Wow.
infested with demons. The Simca's floating around. There's another Crown Vic in my driveway that's not painted like a Yan Cat. And I think that's all we got going on. Something might come to me, but I've probably forgotten it by now.
Okay,
So-
you'll
Yeah,
have a
that's
bad
more or
idea
less-
before this is done. It's fine.
What, Randy? Why do you guys mostly stick with the Subarus?
Because nobody held us as children. It's terrible. The platform for endurance racing is terrible. Yeah, it's absolutely worthless. But we started because one of our friends had a Subaru shop. We had a bunch of Subarus. We had a bunch of parts. We knew how they worked. And that has been a decision that has been terrible ever since.
That's pretty much lemons.
Yeah. It was great. There was a rookie team at Gingerman this year, and it was their second race with the Subaru. The first race, the clutch blew up in like 3 laps or something like that. But they come in and they've got all these problems, and they're like, "Yeah, the fuel pump's going out. It fuel cuts at like half a tank." Like, no, guys, the car works. This is working as designed. It just sucks. Like, okay. They were so happy and then so disappointed immediately after.
It's not going to get better.
No, it does get better eventually. Like when the car goes away and you take that money and turn it into another car, most of your problems get better.
That's right. That's right. So is it's my belief that since I've been working with engines that they mostly have a problem with the valve cover,
Head gasket.
the head gasket valve cover
Well,
issue.
On the street, it's a head gasket. We are yet
Mhm.
to blow a head gasket.
Okay.
We always have more prominent issues where a because it's not a V, because it's a flat motor, in a hard turn, you can have all that oil flow into one valve cover.
Yeah.
And suddenly you've got half a gallon of oil doing nothing. And it loses oil pressure and it'll send chunks of a connecting rod straight through the same spot on the block. And that's where the engine model is stamped. So I have a bunch of chunks of aluminum with engine stampings on them because it just makes a skylight right there every time.
Wow.
So yeah, they all die mostly like that.
It's a consistent problem with the model.
Yeah, Subaru is the automotive equivalent of 2 toddlers on each other's shoulders in a trench coat pretending to be a car company. Like, it is so sad. They came up with this engine that vaguely worked in like the late 80s, and they ran that platform until like last Tuesday. And at no point in its life was it ever good.
And
Yeah,
you
we
keep going back.
Yeah, we can go on about the super platform for a long time because I'll tell you what, therapy's not getting rid of this. So you might as well just keep going.
Well, that's why it's a boxer engine. It just keeps punching you, Randy.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. But we had one survive Road America, and that's good for something.
Mhm.
It's good enough to not cue both cars in the winter immediately.
It only survived Road America because the straights are so long. It finally sloshed all the oil back where it should be.
Well, we also accidentally added, I don't know, an extra 4 or 5 quarts on top of when it was already full once and sent it out. And when we come back, the dipstick's just sopping with oil, but motor didn't blow up, so we just kept doing that.
So have you guys thought of ways to correct that issue somewhat or modify it somewhat? Is that something you guys keep playing with?
You can baffle your pan, you can do stuff like that, and it kind of works. But it's once we figured out that throwing an extra gallon of oil in fixes it, that's fine by us.
Yeah.
These are the experimental rigs. These are the ones that she figured out the pans are too hot.
Oh yeah, those are the experimental ones. Those are the decent ones.
Perfect. I was.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're deep in egg territory over here.
That's fine. The just for the home game players, when Randy says an extra gallon of oil, he is not misspeaking a quart. He is legitimately referring to the unit of measure known as a gallon.
Were you guys there at pit race whenever we dumped the full gallon of Lucas oil stabilizer in a car?
I think last time I had seen you, you had the car was rolled out of the garage and there was fluid everywhere. I'm not sure if you were washing it down or you were something had happened where something blew up, but I think
Donnie
that's a
was
trend.
there. We were
Yeah.
diagonally away from you guys.
Yeah, that was the black Nissan. Yeah. You can totally replace rod bearings with the full gallon of Lucas oil stabilizer, and it works. It works like a dream. Just don't start when it's cold, because then you make like 400 psi of oil pressure, and it shoots the oil filter clean out of the block.
Yeah.
But if you start it when it's warm, it makes like 80 pounds of oil pressure, and it takes like 10 seconds to make it. It just shovels the stuff. But it worked. It was quiet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we've got some more questions about your pit race thing, but I believe Miss Vicky has one of her favorite questions.
Yeah, one of my favorite questions.
Oh, do tell.
So, when you get behind the wheel and your guys are heading out there, do you have a race philosophy? I know. I'm just thinking Randy philosophing about anything.
I was just surprised
it's quite
you
hilarious.
kept a straight face asking the question, but that's fine.
Yeah, bravo there. Now when the car goes out, it's usually, especially first time of the day, it's going out after a massive unplanned repair at like 8:30 in the morning. So any chance of forethought is long gone. It's like, okay, let's do this now. And like you vaguely gojo the oil off of your hands.
Right.
Like at Road America, 20 minutes before the green flag, we accidentally drilled directly into an oil galley on in the head of the car. Like 20 minutes before green flag, just right through. And yeah, that's the kind of stuff that we do, because we're not very bright.
I just like how you guys just don't take yourself too seriously at all.
Oh yeah, like if we're
you're there for the fun. You're there to have a good time.
We're not good at this, and frankly, I don't know like how many people realize this. I don't drive often, like at all. I think the last time I drove was the time we almost accidentally won C class. And that was 2021, I think. I don't care about driving. I do not care one bit. I am there to see my friends, and I'm there to party. And I don't care about much else, really.
Well, speaking of not driving at races and putting two words together that I never thought would ever be paired, we can't help but ask about Judge Bish.
Judge Bish.
Yes. Okay. So judging is significantly more fun than racing in every every single regard. I just show up, and I've told this. This is kind of my line to the teams that are far more serious than they should be. I am unhinged, and I will make it your problem. So it's just a place where I get to be absolutely ridiculous, and people get to bend to my will. And the people who are especially serious and no fun, I get to have even more fun. So, judging 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Do it as much and as often as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. I believe it may have been your first time ever judging. There was a rally held to voice the public's opinion on you being a judge. If I recall correctly. I mean,
The silent majority had my back at the end of the day. When it was all said and done, the recall Judge Randy movement had no momentum at all. It was completely unfounded. So we made it through that one a-okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was great. There were just the signs that just popped up Sunday morning, and I immediately knew it was my own team doing it, just posting the recall Judge Randy signs on bathrooms Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And when you know it, come like 2:00 Sunday afternoon, they used my own van as a parade vehicle, and they had this great big, like 10-foot banner that I still have in my closet. They had that printed overnight. They had that idea at like 10:30 the night before on a Saturday, and they had that printed up somehow.
Mm-hmm.
They won't tell me what it cost, but I know that there were very upset spouses about it.
I'm sure there were. And that was one of the many things that they should be upset about with your race team, but that's a different story.
Yeah, I mean, you get used to some level of shenanigan, but every now and then we go above and beyond.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, luckily,
I can't even say we there. They did that all on their own.
I know you were just receiving end.
Yeah. Well, I gave them so much crap because their theme was that they were going to be a serious race team without me, and like their BS inspection, they rolled in to do like a real pit stop practice, and they accidentally fumbled that terribly, so it was just right off to the races. It wasn't even funny at that point. It was mostly just sad. So, but I'll give them a little bit of credit for that little comeback there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, that is some excellent egg action going on. You guys want any?
Sure.
No, we're good. Thanks.
I'm okay. I'm good to go.
It's fine. It's good.
So
it's always good.
Yeah. Judging is always fun. I hope I can challenge people to be more unhinged, because as Lemons gets faster, I dare say some people take it a little more seriously, and it gets a little worse every year. I'm trying to bring balance back to that force, because but if you want to be serious, go do something else. Go do this with someone else.
Thank you for poking, sir.
Yeah, no problem, sir.
Go disappear now.
Okay, have fun. Yeah, this is meant to be fun. Like, you can't go to Champ Car and do 90% of this stuff, but if you want to race, go do it there. Let me have fun being silly.
Yeah, we have supported once you win the car is either ineligible or goes into a exhibition class, and we're not getting any traction, but that's okay.
I've been pushing for Lemon's restrictor plate racing, where instead of penalty laps, you're given coffee filters that have to be run over your air filter. Like, I want to see somebody show up with some cheaty car, and they're told they have to run like 14 coffee filters zip tied over their cone air filter. Lemon's restrictor plate, I think, has legs.
Probably. If you that could go so many different ways from there. I'm gonna just keep running. So being
Good
the
answer.
being the arsonist that you are in racing, I believe you have a certain project underway that maybe we should cover.
Oh, well, which one are we talking? Are we talking the world's most perfect Buick Roadmaster, or are we talking Operation Burn the SCCA to the ground?
Let's go with the second one. We'll get back to the Roadmaster.
All right, excellent call. So, over here in Pittsburgh, we have probably one of the most competitive autocross programs in the country. Like, we got half a dozen national winning folks showing up to just local events. And some people take it really seriously, way more seriously than they should for parking lot racing. And I had the thought that I'm just going to ruin it. And I'm going to do the same thing where I bring that balance back to maybe humble some of these people spending 50 grand on Civics for 8 minutes of seat time a year. And to do that, it started with a local autocross class. We call it Meme Street, and it is a completely open class. There are no rules, except the tires have to be 420 tread wear or higher, or they can be non-rated tires, so snow tires, agricultural tires, things of that nature, or they can be 200 tread wear or race compound tires, but they have to be manufactured before 2 US presidents ago. So if you've been sitting on like some Hoosier A5s from the HW days, bring them. And the winner at the end of the year gets a lasagna. And this was a silly idea that I honestly didn't think would go many places, and has kind of taken off at a somewhat alarming rate. And local people love it. At the end of the year, we have the last event of the year is called WrestleMania, where everyone fights for a different lasagna, usually in costume. It's absolutely ridiculous, but somebody had the thought this year of let's take the show on the road. So without confirming with me or conferring or some such communication, my local friends decided to start a GoFundMe to send me to Lincoln, Nebraska to take this show nationally for Autocross Nationals. And everyone and their brother gave $69 to make this happen. So we took a Crown Victoria and we coated it in truck bed coating. Just absolute whole nine. It is pretty much invincible. And then we painted a great big Yan cat on each side, as one does. And friend Tom, the artist, one that named the team, he did that. It looks phenomenal. And we took it with speakers and all, the whole nine, we took it to be as ridiculous as we possibly could. We blasted the theme at all possible times, day and night, just cruising around. And then it rolls up to grid to start competing. And that's when people got a little confused. And you go to these events, it's supposed to be prim and proper, and people are some of them, people are way too tight-laced about this. And one of the modifications of the car at the time, we threw a Torsen diff in the back, and we took out the 355 gear ratio, and we put it in 430s. So that car had one job of lighting tires on fire. So every single run was started with like a 10-second burnout. It was just clouds leaving the place. That's like a gigantic no-no. And the looks that we got from some of these old geezers in their like 1983 Black Shadow Special B-Mod car, like these people were not thrilled with us. They were very, very upset. And we're just like, guys, we're in a parking lot. Like y'all need to bring this down a smidge of 3. And as that week went on, people started coming around to it, and now it's kind of a national level where other locations and regions are picking up this class, and it's starting to get out of hand. It's starting to frighten me a little, if I'm honest. But yeah, that is my hope and dream, is to take this gleaming ivory tower of the SCCA and tear it down bit by bit until it is humbled to what it should be. And I think I'm off to a decent start.
So obviously you should talk to Rhino Liner as a title sponsor for the level.
Yeah. So the company that we bought the truck bed coating from, we rolled it on. You have to have the special foam roller to do it because the regular paint rollers strip apart. And we got a hold of them, told them we needed more rollers. And they were like, hey, out of curiosity, what kind of project are you doing with this? And we sent them a Crown Victoria with like a 9-foot long Nyan cat, complete with rainbow on the back coming out of it. And we never heard from them again. I can't understand why.
Oh, jeez.
They're still writing the check. There's a lot of zeros on it, Randy. Don't worry.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm waiting for that knock on the door. Publishers Clearinghouse and all.
That's right. The big check. The like 3 foot across. Yeah, it'll be fantastic.
Oh, so what about the Spec Panther?
See, Spec Panther is one of those things that I love the concept of. Cheap motorsport is the way to do this, and Panthers are the way to do this. They do everything well. You can do whatever you want to these things, and they never die. I don't know if I'll do it too much because the Nyan car now also has a third pedal in it. So that should be done like this weekend. So it's automatically ineligible. But I don't know. If I make another Panther, like if a Panther falls in my lap that's mostly stock, if they'll let me out there without too much fuss, yeah, I might give it a shot or two. But yeah, I love what they're doing in general with it.
It's just a 4-ton Miata, right?
Yeah. And people never believe me when I'm like, guys, it's a 3/2 scale Miata. That's all this is. And people are like, no, it's not. And then they get in like, oh, okay, yeah, it kind of is. It is that Nyan car with the angry gears and the diff. Favorite backwoods bomber ever, and I know Fiesta ST. And if I have those two next to each other, I'm taking the Vic, especially now with 3 pedals. Like that's going to be about as good as you get.
Indeed.
Nice.
Yep.
So what about the Buick? How about a Buick Roadmaster story time?
Do you guys know about the most perfect Buick on the planet that I own?
No, tell us. Tell me a story.
So you could get the last run of Buick Roadmasters with the LP1 engine, which was what was coming in the Camaro, Firebird, Corvette of the day. And this great big wagon made like 260, 270 horse and like 330 torque, something like that out of the box. It's a great little wood grain hero. So I bought one. I was looking at the ad late at night, and he had the VIN posted on the ad. And the last 6 digits of the VIN are the sequential serial number from GM. And in 95, there were 10 GM bodies that ended with a serial number of 42069X. And I just happened to own 42069-1. And it's perfectly optioned. It's got the tow pack, limited slip diff, angry gears. And it's just kind of perfect. Like, I proposed to Lauren with that car. It has been all around. And a possum lit it on fire a few years ago. And I haven't done much with it since. And it's still a little crispy. But it's one of those things like the VIN and the history with it, I can't get rid of it. So that does fall under a project. But it's a project. Oh, the Saab engine is going in that. That's why I saved the Saab engine.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, because that's what makes sense. You take your motor out of your Saab, and you put it in your awesome burnt Buick. I don't know why everyone's.
How did it burn?
So it was actually after. It was the day after Pit Race 21, We made it back to Michigan at like 4 in the morning. And I come out the next day, there's like some sticks around the car. Like, all right, that's strange. We got home late at night. It was pretty cold out, and a possum built a little nest on top of one of the exhaust manifolds.
Uh-oh.
The next day, I started driving. Like 10 minutes in, there's smoke. I look under like in the wheel well, and it's just glowing orange. Like great. And the car was still loaded from the night before, or from the weekend. And I run around to the back of the car to find something liquid to put the fire out. And the first two things I grab are 2 jars of like 190 proof moonshine that one of our drivers brought.
That
And I
was
made
fun.
it about 4 steps before going, wait a second, this won't work. And like some absolute mythical creature of yore, some stoner dude drove up over a curb to the parking lot that this thing was on fire in, got out of his car, had like half of a water bottle full of like his gym drink. And between that and a couple of Arnold Palmers that I pulled out of the trunk, we got the fire out. He gave me a high five, and then he just drove away like nothing happened. So,
Oh, wow.
in the off chance that you're listening, stoner gym dude, I love you.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, did you smell possum cooking?
So I was so happy when it happened because I'm like, at least the possum is gone. The car gets towed away. I was back when I was living in Michigan, didn't have anywhere to work on it. Tow it to the local shop, and I get a call from them the next day. Like, well, we know it was a possum that did this because the possum hasn't left. When the fire
Uh-oh.
started, the possum crawled in behind the firewall and was somewhere in the dash for the whole thing.
Oh, no.
And it was very angry. So, like, yeah, there's
Yeah.
the possum's still in the car. What do you want us to do? Like this was a situation that I had come across before.
I was a tip for you guys. I was trying to take care of you.
Yeah, I know it looks like my possum, but it's not my possum.
Yeah. Well, so what ended up happening? The one mechanic there slowly gave the possum treats and befriended it over about 3 days. And now William Opossum Sherman now lives with him as a pet.
Oh, I hear that happens quite easily with possums.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that my experience with the guy, he was a little upset with me. I did burn his home to the ground after all.
Right.
But yeah, I'm glad he's
But it kind of
living his
worked out.
best life. Yeah.
It worked out for him. Now he's got a bigger home
Yeah.
Here's a theme song from the
and a
Jeffersons
roommate.
playing in the background.
That's right. You got that and a roommate.
Exactly. And free food.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it worked out for everyone, I guess.
Including the
Exactly.
possum.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Randy, what do you have upcoming?
Let's
Do you have
see.
any season plans? I know Pitt's coming.
So
For next
year, we have I think our grandest theme and scheme yet.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh no.
And I mean,
no.
most of our themes are thought of 3 days before, and we came up with this one like a year and a half early, and we haven't deviated from it yet. So, you guys plan on being at Pitt next year?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Oh, fantastic! You'll see that. So we're doing. Let's see, what are we doing next year? We're doing Pitt, Gingerman, and Road America at the very least. The whole schedule toss up is making things a little interesting.
Can I make a suggestion / request?
Go for it.
In October,
Yeah.
weekend before Halloween, Lucky Dog is going to pit race.
Is that New Hampshire weekend?
Yes. No, New Hampshire's
Oh.
weekend before.
Okay. Because I'm trying to. I would very much love to judge New Hampshire.
Mhm.
Yeah. If I'm not doing anything, at the very least, I will pop up for guerrilla warfare shenanigans.
Mhm.
There
in
you
Paddock, if nothing else. Yeah, like
Well, it's such
you
a
guys
hard
are in my
commute
backyard.
for you. I mean, we will be
Oh.
there, and We're hoping to get everybody there. We're hoping to make this a big one.
Yeah. Lucky Dog hasn't been to pit race before, have they?
No, this will be their first northeast-ish venture.
Fair enough. Yeah. Late October, the weather's usually
Terrible.
not great, but stable up
Mhm.
here. Thing with pit race that I'm sure you guys have noticed is because it's up on the mountain,
Mhm.
The wind is immediately like 20 mile an hour faster, and like the air's 10 degrees cooler. It's a bit of a struggle up there.
Mm-hmm. And you can see the weather coming at you. It's great.
Oh, that's where I went whenever that train caught on fire last
Mhm.
year.
Yeah, I was so
I
worried
went up
about
to
you
pit race to
guys.
see. Well, it was close enough that I went up to pit race to see. Like, oh yeah, it's right over there. It was a heck of a sight. A little sketchy to be around, but yeah, it looked cool.
It said the same thing about you, Randy. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, but but Norfolk Southern's not paying me to be around.
This is true. I think they
Yeah.
paid enough for that one. So
Oh yeah, I mean between that and the nuclear plant down the road and the gigantic ethane cracker plant right next to that, this whole valley is one great big industrial accident away from vanishing from the map. But that's what gives part of its charm. Like every time you go here, like, oh, it might be the last time I'm here. So, it helps a little bit.
well, you don't have to light the track at night. It just glows. It's fine.
Yeah, precisely.
Captain's log supplemental.
So, Bill, guess what?
What?
We did the Sentinel. We did the
did?
Sentinel.
We did.
We
How did
we
you
were
like it?
You know what? We were talking about the Sentinel.
We have.
It was great. We understood watching how the Sentinel works,
Mhm.
but we finally got it into our car, and I got to tell you, that was really awesome. I was able to see every one of my mistakes.
We have hours of them.
We have hours of my mistakes,
That's right.
but we have hours of good stuff too, which is awesome. It actually showed us the speed. Did it show us where we were on track?
We were streaming it for
We were streaming it live.
we're boring billions of people across the world.
But it was pretty incredible. Plus, on it, you're able to put your insignia, your logos
Yep.
on your app also, and the clarity was amazing. It was really easy to put in,
It was
easier
easy.
than I thought it was.
I know you
So
kept making a big deal out of it. I'm like, it's really not that hard.
actually,
Until we focused on it. It wasn't too bad. And then we got some help.
no,
It was pretty easy.
yeah, it was. It was pretty good.
You know what? I like the stream because some of the tracks we go to don't have great cell phone coverage, but it's got a USB stick backup. So I just uploaded the high quality video without the cellular interruption. So if you watched us earlier and said, wow, they got from there to there really quickly, you can watch the real video and see that no, we didn't. It's just a cell phone went out. But
yeah. So the learning curve for me, obviously, I'm slightly techno Amish.
slightly.
Slightly when it comes to the wiring and stuff like that, but we get it in and I love it. We were able to sit there right at the track and watch what we were doing in the car, and that was amazing.
Which was good because if you have a problem with your radio, you can tell, if something is going on that you need to know about. Like a couple times we've had cars come in and we didn't know they were broken. And I know it's hard to imagine one of our cars being broken, but whatever. But you can watch the video, and even with the cell phone coverage we had at that particular event, it was like a 30-second delay. So it wasn't bad. And you can compare multiple drivers because you have each of the stints are broken up. So we got to work on not only our driving, but if we wanted to, we could work on our pit stops and see exactly what we do. And there's some things that we need to talk about as a team. And it was pretty good. Like I said, it takes me, once we got the wiring hooked up for the power, I probably could go from an empty shell to a full up setup running Sentinel. I could probably do that in like 20 minutes. So you could literally install it in a car before a race. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And we got to see the driver and the front windshield. And if we want to, we can have three. We can see backwards. Or one of the guys we were going to work with at the upcoming event, he said, could you put a camera on the driver's eyes so we could see what they're looking at? I said, why, yes, I can. Haven't done it yet, but I'll figure it out. I've got time.
Well, I love it.
All right, very well. That sounds like I can buy another one then. Woo! So,
Oh,
Mr. Bish, you have not been on in way too long, and I don't even remember if we subjected you to our little slice of heaven that Vicky likes to call the Fast and Furious story type questions, but
Ooh,
we shall do so.
I don't remember, but throw it at me.
No, we have quite the list, and we're going to get through probably half of it tonight, but we will have to have you back on. But Miss Vicky,
so we starting off fresh with everything, or just the new questions?
All of them.
Oh, Randy. Oh, Randy.
We apologize ahead of time, Randy.
Yeah. All right. What was your first car, and what was the worst car you ever had? There should be plenty to choose from.
Thinking worst car is going to be the struggle.
Yeah, well, first car was a 98 Contour. And it's in the running for worst car because it had a leaking head gasket and a leaking heater core. So it had this great system where it just dumped exhaust gas directly into the cabin.
It didn't affect you at all.
In retrospect, explains a couple things.
Did not affect you at all.
No, not in any way, shape, or form. So that's in the running for worst, but I think, yeah, we're going to go ahead and call that one the worst for now.
Okay. All right. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
What is, or do you have one car that got away from you? It could be a car that you sold and regret, a car that you almost bought. Is it?
It was a week before I left for college. I went to look at an 88 or an 89 Civic Si hatch. And this thing was beat. The seat back no longer locked into position. So there was a milk crate behind it. And when you sat down, back and the crate stopped the seat. And
Hagel's favorite method for race cars.
Oh yeah, but it drove fine. It was like the proper beater Civic Si hatch of the day. And I didn't buy it because I didn't want to they wouldn't budge from their outlandish sum of like $1,500. And looking back, like at this point, for any of those late 80s Civic hatch SIs in any vaguely running condition for $1,500, I should have grabbed it. I mean, I would have rusted it in half and cubed it by now, but I still wish I would have grabbed it.
For sure.
Yeah. I also changed my answer for worst car to any of the SVXs I've ever owned. It doesn't matter which one, just any of them. They're all terrible. They all deserve to die. Everyone.
I did not know you had those. I'm sorry.
Oh, they were so bad. They're good when they run for like 15 minutes a year. The rest of the time, they're just expensive and sad.
Oh, jeez. So, Randy, what was the one thing that no one knows about you that would surprise them?
I do a mean version of Minnie the Moocher for karaoke that I like to surprise people with on occasion. Yeah, we let that one fly every now and then and feel like, oh, okay, that's unexpected.
Three pedal mafia paging, Three pedal mafia. We need a karaoke machine for pit race.
Yeah, that would be pretty hilarious.
Oh man, I mean, if you build it, I will come.
Oh, no doubt. All right, sir. The question that I am so looking forward to hearing your particular answer. Randy Bish, what is the coolest car ever?
Oh, coolest make and model or coolest particular car?
Your podcast, your rules.
There's a couple in the running. The one that sticks in my mind most is the Tucker 48.
Okay.
Which, yeah, if you're not familiar, little company headed by Preston Tucker in the late 40s, early 50s. This car was amazing. and this was an actual conspiracy by mostly GM to put him under, and it totally worked. And they made, I think, 53 total cars, and they're all worth a bajillion dollars at this point.
Yep.
But
And
yeah, Tucker 48. Oh, go ahead.
if you want a automatic IOE, bring one to Lemons. Just saying.
So there was one that raced in NASCAR in the 50s, and they were actually, like, the team was based in Pittsburgh. I think they did 2 races and broke within half an hour in both of them. But if I ever had unlimited money, I would buy a Tucker, and I would take the time to clone it piece by piece and form every piece of metal, and then go vintage wheel-to-wheel racing with it without people knowing that it was a clone, just to watch who's crazy enough to go into a turn next to what they think is this completely irreplaceable Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if I ever win the lottery, I won't tell anyone, but there will be signs.
Well, you can use the check from the Rhino Liner, and
yes, we're going right down to the local Tucker dealer. We're picking one up.
That's right. We're gonna open our own Tucker dealer and buy a car from ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I like this plan.
Yeah. So let's see. How about what car did you pass your driver's license in?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, it's a trick question. I passed it in. I actually had a. I did a driving school, and I passed it in their Chevy Malibu, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It was an appliance. It was something as pedestrian as they could possibly find.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it was a vehicle meant exclusively to be driven by 17-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
All right, here it comes. Vicky's eyes start to roll. So Randy, we're gonna win the lottery. It's gonna be a big lottery, huge lottery. We're gonna have our own private island with a racetrack. One side of the racetrack will be asphalt design, one side will be dirt design. And as a thank you to all our esteemed guests on the podcast, we want to make sure that you have the ultimate experience. And we need to know what 5 cars we need to have on our island upon your arrival, so you will have a great time.
5 Tucker 48s.
5 Tucker 48s.
That's Tucker come. But if we're doing 5 different cars,
that's not too.
I want to say
whatever you want. We had 5 Spec Miatas on one podcast guest, so you can do it.
Oh wow, that's creative. No, I would do 5 different ones, because if you're going to do something, you might as well mix it up. I think a $2,500 Mercury Marauder with like 280,000 miles and 6 owners comes to mind.
Okay.
When you pick one of those up, that's how you know you've made it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, one of those, a Toyota Cavalier, because I've always wanted to see one, and that is indeed a real car. Just a Chevy Cavalier with a Toyota badge slapped on it for reasons in Japan. An Isuzu Via Cross. I'd love a Via Cross, and if we're going all out, why not?
Sure.
What do I got? I got 2 left.
2 left.
We got to get some truck action in here.
We have an off-road track, so you can go as you wish.
See, that's a great thing. Every car is an off-road car if you use it properly.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say we're going to need a Grand National in here, because I love Grand Nationals because they're wonderful and terrible.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a Grand National, means I can't have a Typhoon.
Could.
Yeah, they're kind of the same. But for vehicle number 5, I'm going to go with like one of those 90s Toyota trucks, like the ones that Top Gear tried to kill, just so I could try to do the same thing.
Okay. Oh, wait. We've got late breaking news. You've been invited to add a 6th car. You can pick one of any of Donnie's fleet.
Oh, oh.
Past or present?
Mhm.
Here's what I would do. I would tell Donnie that I'm coming down to, to his intergalactic headquarters to
Mhm.
pick out a car.
Ah.
So he would know, and I would go down there, and whatever car he has hidden, and whichever car is the furthest away from that headquarters,
Mhm.
I would assume is the one that he would love the most.
Mhm.
So I would pick that one,
Okay. All right.
which I assume would probably be some like one of three Firebird or something like that.
Mhm.
And I would it would never see asphalt ever again.
Hmm.
That could be the Grand National that you seek too. You never know if he finds one.
Oh, it totally could be.
Miss Vicky.
Yes. What is your most memorable breakdown on road or track?
Which
I
one?
mean, on the road, it's definitely up there. The whole Reading adventure,
Mhm.
considering I got to spend a week with you guys when the rally didn't work, and I also got 2 cats out of it. So
Mhm.
that was definitely up there for memorable.
We did
It
have a
Uh,
good time.
was probably the longest.
Yeah, as far as an ongoing breakdown, yeah, I'd say it probably was. It takes the cake on that one. And
That
then,
That was a
oh,
good
go ahead.
breakdown.
It was a good time.
It
I
was a
want to
good
say we
time.
should do that again sometime, but
I know, right?
if I ever have to touch electricals like that ever again, I'm just gonna cry. That was not fun. But let's see. And then for on track breakdowns, the time we sent an oil filter in, time we turned an oil filter into a cosmonaut, that was pretty good.
Mhm.
Details.
See.
Details.
Oh yeah, the blew out our rod bearings of a Nissan, and we hated the car, and we never wanted to see it again. So that night, as it was rod knocking on a motor we just put in, went down to the parts store, and I've always wanted to buy the full gallon of Lucas Oil Stabilizer, like that nasty honey stuff. They
Mhm.
sell it in the court. No, I bought the whole gallon, and we just poured that in. It took like 10 minutes to pour this in, and fire it up, and it makes great oil pressure, and the motor's as quiet as can be. So shut it down. Just go to start it Sunday morning, and it's much colder, so it's much more viscous. And car roll, 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 fires up, making all kinds of weird noise. There's a clang. That's strange. Look down at the oil pressure gauge. No oil pressure. So naturally we thought, oh, the gauge is broken. So let's rev it and see what happens.
It's always the gauge.
Yeah, the gauge is always broken.
It's just the
Strangest thing.
gauge.
Yeah. And no, what had happened was because it was so viscous, it built so much oil pressure that it shot the oil filter clean out of the motor, like stripped the threads, whole nine, right out it went. So that one was pretty memorable. Also memorable because we dumped a gallon of Lucas Oil Stabilizer on the ground at pit race in 40-degree weather, and oil dry doesn't work on that at all.
Nope.
It's like puking Play-Doh out. I still have no idea how they cleaned it up. We just put oil dry on top of it. The poor dude working pit race shows up in a golf cart with 1 bag of oil dry, and there's a trail going the whole way down the hill from those upper garages, and he just kind of sighs like, "I'll be back with more," and he comes back with a pallet.
Yep. I remember seeing him. He was not the happiest faced person I've ever seen.
That was sad.
You know, they must like have it in the meeting rooms like these goddamn people are coming back again.
Oh, well, because I'm right down the hill and I'm up there like every other weekend or so, we've gotten familiar with each other.
Oh, good. Well, good.
We actually race with Glenn, who's the track manager now. So
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
all right, sir.
Wait, which Glenn?
Robinson.
Okay. That's. I don't think I've met him in person, but yeah, know of him. Gotcha.
Good guy. If you're in trouble, don't bring our name up. It's fine.
Fantastic.
That
goes without saying. I got
Yep.
you.
Pretty much.
Wink, wink, nod.
Randy who?
Yeah.
What is your race car number and why? And do your cars have names?
So we always change the number. Whenever we go into a theme, we usually go very, very into the theme, and the number has some significance. So our very first race, we ran 419 as the League of Legitimate Nigerian Businessmen, because 419 is the law on the books in Nigeria regarding cybercrime. So whenever we don't have any set theme with a number tie-in, it's 419. For, let's see, for like Road America this year, we did, it was like 473, something like that. We did a Brett Favre roasting theme, and the number that we chose was the area code for the college that he embezzled a shit ton of money from the local taxpayers into that volleyball program. So,
I remember that.
It was, we get really into it with the numbers.
Excellent.
Got to get the area code for Nigeria.
Oh,
it would be a 2-digit code.
Oh,
yeah,
that's okay.
You get into the 2-digit codes, and they're usually taken by people who are smart and run one number all the time. Or you can just show up with paint cans or a cricket and just keep putting different ones on.
Nigeria is a 3-digit code. 234.
Oh, what?
234.
There we go.
There you go. We actually helped you. We helped somebody with the podcast. Who knew?
Fantastic.
How about for the rest of your life, if you could only drive one daily and race car from one decade in the past, what would it be?
Ooh.
So all race cars and all dailies have to be the same decade. Doesn't have to be like 0 to 0. It just has to be 10-year span.
Ooh. I'm gonna say 86 to 96.
Okay.
Because that gives us a lot of like the early rad era with like some of the 90s stuff that got to be pretty cool. And also gives us the tail end of the Malaise era. And if there's anything that screams sportiness and vehicle precision handling, it's a couch with wheels.
Exactly.
Yeah,
for sure.
205 75 15 is the best tire for motorsports on the face of the planet. I will accept. Like, if you're not racing without 14 inches of sidewall, what are you doing?
I had 185 70 14s on my first car. So
nice.
Yeah. I don't even think
I
sell
used
them
I used to get those. Oh, yeah. Well, they do. They've gotten more expensive because nobody uses them anymore. And I used to get them for like $30 because they're like this big. Not wide, not tread width wide, like diameter like this big. They're tiny little things.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. I've got a whole list here, but I would be neglecting on my last question of the evening to not address Miss Jennifer's favorite question. Randy Bish, favorite car movie or car from a movie of all time?
Ooh.
You could do both if you like. It's your podcast. We can't tell you what to do.
Yeah. Favorite car movie. One of the Mad Maxes has to be in there.
Okay.
Maybe it's going to be a tie between Road Warrior and Fury Road. Because that is the best car franchise, hands down. Favorite car from a movie. Probably Back to the Future, but the DeLorean before it was turned into a time machine. Oh, actually, no. I'm going to go the DeLorean from The Wedding Singer, because it's a totally stock DeLorean, and they are garbage vehicles. But John Zachary DeLorean was an absolute coked out hero, so I'm going to go with that.
Miss Vicky, you have the final one for this time. We're only halfway through this, Randy. We could do this for a very long time.
I'm game.
All right, Randy, I've got one more after Vicky then.
What is your favorite track, and what is your favorite turn on a track?
pit race has got to be my favorite track by default because it's 10 minutes that way. And the facilities are fantastic.
Facilities are great there. You're so lucky.
Yeah, you would never expect it. And like that
Mhm.
was the only track most of us had ever gone to. And then we went to Gingerman. And if you've ever been to Gingerman, facilities are not great.
No,
I like a gingerman though. It's fun.
it's a nice track.
yeah.
Facilities not so great.
And
Gingerman
as far as
backwards is fantastic, by the way.
I've never experienced that one.
That's quite fun.
That'd be different.
It's way different. It's different than what you think it would be.
Let's see. And as far as favorite turn, I don't drive that much, but if I had to choose any, it would probably be that strange double left at Gingerman.
5-6.
Yeah, I enjoy that because it's
You can't get it right.
Yeah, there's no like totally correct. And it's also a nice diagnostic, like suspension diagnostic corner because you go from a turn into a vague straight section and then another turn. So if you have things like, I don't know, coilovers that nobody actually tightens down any fasteners for, that's the turn that lets you know.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
Yeah, gift that keeps giving.
All right, Randy Bish. I'm gonna end this one with this. I'm giving you a mountain, and you have to sculpt into the top of the mountain your Mount Rushmore Saturday Night Live cast members.
Oh. Now, I think Eddie Murphy's got to be up there twice at least.
He better be on there for sure.
Yeah. I almost want to make it all Eddie Murphy. Just oops.
Murphy.
There we go. That's what we're going to do. Oops, all Eddie Murphy.
Well, I'm telling you, if you pull this off, we can guarantee on the opening ceremony, we know one person that will be in attendance.
Yeah. Maybe a John Candy. I don't know if John Candy was
No.
actually on SNL, but we're going to throw him on anyway because if we're digging faces into a mountain, who's going to stop us?
It's your mountain. You can do anything you want
Yeah.
with it. It's my mountain. Very well.
It's my mountain, he says.
Well, Mr. Bish, we need to have you on again much sooner than the time in between. And we have some more questions that you may find entertaining. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm down. Throw me a date whenever you want.
Sir, if people want to, for unknown reasons, if people want to keep up with the League of Nigeria's Businessmen, why and where?
Your local police scanner is probably your best connection.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, it's really just whatever crazy things you see me on my personal Facebook page doing. We have a Nigerian Businessman Facebook page, doesn't get used that much. Or if you search on Facebook, STC Meme Street Drivers in 3D on Ice is the Facebook group for the SCCA Crusade. So yeah, if you want to see some grade A stupidity, that'll do it.
Do you have your judge schedule for this year?
I do not. I just sent Eric the races that I really want to do, and the top of that list is Jersey. I want to do New Jersey so badly. I want to take people I want to take the stereotypical East Coast hyper competitive folks, and I want to bring them down 3 levels at least. So yeah, Jersey's high up on that list.
So I gave advice at the last New Jersey race because they did a really good job on Saturday, the judges setting up expectations and making sure that it wasn't the normal New Jersey race. And then on Sunday morning, I go, do my judge drop in, and they're like, oh no, everything went really well yesterday. I'm like, do one thing and do one thing only. Do not compliment them. Do not tell them they're doing a good job, because whenever you do, we've done this before. We've had a good Saturday, and then Sunday was a tremendous was a shit show, or vice versa, or the entire weekend. But don't ever say we've got this under control, because you won't like what you get.
Yeah, like there was a team of those particular brand of East Coasters at Pitt this year, and we made them sort a box of Fruity Pebbles by color while singing the Flintstones theme song, which was great because first of all, they had to do it and it was quite time consuming, but also none of them remembered what the Flintstones theme song sounded like.
Oh no.
So it was just one dude saying the word Flintstones every 4 seconds while they did menial labor. And that was just getting warmed up. So yeah, if they let me keep doing penalties, I'm probably going to get a call, probably related to war crimes, in the next couple of years.
Well, apparently they have standards for their judges, because they won't let me do it, but that's fine. I have a suggestion for a penalty we can talk about, and it should be quite fun.
Oh, I will. There is a spreadsheet for penalty concepts I will gladly add to.
Very well. Sir, always fun.
Always a pleasure.
Until you break down in our zip code again, just let us know.
I was supposed to be there for a wedding a few months ago. I was really tempted to show up at your door just Christmas caroling in like June.
That would be hilarious.
Just completely unannounced.
Yeah, the best part would have been you showed up at the door we don't live at anymore, but that's fine.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You're not Bill. You don't look like Vicky.
Yeah, I mean, we would have stayed committed to the bit. Like, we wouldn't have stopped.
Exactly. I know. It's fine.
Yeah.
We know who lives there now. It's fine. Sir, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
So here's my thought. At check-in, every team gets a plastic Easter egg. And inside said plastic Easter egg is a picture of a Lemons car. Now, you have to pick a poker hand. So you have to beat Full House, and you have to go match either colors, makes, models, team, whatever. You have to come up with it, and you have to go around and get the Easter eggs from everybody else's team. And that way you have to see at least 5 teams, maybe more, just to get their eggs. And you have to give them another egg. So you have to, and the person who owns the egg, the team you're trying to get, can make you do whatever they wish to earn their egg.
Just say maybe.
Seems a little cumbersome with the paperwork, like, actually printing everything ahead of time, but I like this plan.
It gets the mingle. Because otherwise you're going to not meet that team. This way you have to meet that team. And the main paddock building, off limits. Because that's too easy.
That's fair. Now, if you really...
We need to get to mingle. We need to get to mingle.
Well, if you really want to mingle, what we have found is, if you can be as obnoxious and as visible as possible at night in the paddock, that's a phenomenal way to do it. Mm-hmm. So Road America, they rented out golf carts for the paddock.
Yes.
And it took all of about, 7 or 8 minutes before we realized if we sat me on the very back seat, we can do wheelies on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just us partying for a couple hours, just doing wheelies through the paddock and saying hi to people. That works for mingling as well. Mm-hmm. There were teams that got into the shenanigans that I don't know their names. Like the team that runs, love those guys. They're always hanging around us. I don't know any of their names, and at this point, it's way too late to ask. So
yeah. We've had that problem. We had a friend who we met. I met him in college, and then hired him at a company I was working for in Dallas. So he comes to Dallas and he's working with us, and then his girlfriend at the time comes in and we meet her, and we hang out a lot and whatever, no big deal. So, and then I end up moving to New Jersey. He ends up coming to work there with her, and then he is now serious with her. They get married, and we're at like all the time. I have no idea what her name is. So it gets to the point where we invite my mother to drop in when we're at dinner one time and introduce herself and try to get the girl's name. Nothing. Teacher, professor, advisor through college, nothing. The wedding invitation comes in, and it's got like the father of the bride's name, the mother of the bride's name, mother of the groom, everybody's name, Nestor's name, and the bride. She was listed as the bride. We're like, we are never going to know her name ever.
Oh my God. Yeah. At this point, it's just destined.
It's like 5 years. I mean, this is 5 years of, seeing them two or three times a month, working with him at 2 different facilities, the whole thing. And it turns out we finally find her name out. Like, I think it was like 6 months after they were married or something.
Ah.
Okay.
I was going to say you could have always done like hey, how do you spell your name? But then you always ran the risk of it being something like
Mary. Yeah.
Super obvious. Yeah, Marie would have been one of those.
Yep.
Oh, that is fantastic.